Hey everybody, thanks for being with us today. Real excited to be on West Point Lake in Georgia. Here with my good friends John Reed and his partner Matthew, and we're going to try to catch some largemouth. They'll either be pre or post spawn today. We're not real sure, but we think they're going to be shallow, catching them on a variety of baits till we kind of dial in what we're doing. But thanks so much for being with us. I don't know what this is. It's a spot or a largemouth, but he thumped it about halfway. Look at that, it's a white. Now that's what we were supposed to be catching yesterday.
It might be why I didn't get my fluke.
Yeah, that's a little old small hybrid. Hit the crankbait. Early in the morning, we got some shad moving out here. We're trying to take advantage of the green ones, not the white ones. Here with my good friend John Reed. It's a little colder than we thought it was going to be this morning, but we got a bunch of shad moving up here. We're going to see if we can take advantage of catching a few while they're doing it. So where we are is kind of in the halfway in the back of a creek, and there's a lot of bait in here, and so we're kind of the three of us are throwing three different things to try to figure out what they'll hit the best. I think John Reed's throwing a super fluke and I'm throwing a rattle trap.
I'm actually throwing a jerk bait right now.
Oh, you're throwing a jerk bait?
Yeah.
And then he's throwing a little top water. He just caught a small one. We tried way in the back and they didn't seem to be back there, so we're moving back out to kind of middle of the creek where we had a few bites to start with. John Reed, what makes this place right here kind of one of your favorite spots?
Probably I'm making it a lot better in my head than it actually is. Matthew and I learned to fish out here. We started fishing in a John boat, and this is real close to a ramp that we put in at. And we kind of caught the fishing bug back in here because there's a lot of hybrid and a lot of striper. They like to pull back in here.
So they follow the bait is why they're in here?
Yes, sir. Okay. This is just a bait magnet back here.
What you got there, man?
Pretty sure this one's a hybrid.
A little hybrid on a little small crankbait?
Little small crankbait.
Yep. A lot of bait in here, a lot of bait spawning. We caught some hybrids. When a bass eats a bait like that, you know you're throwing the right color and the right bait. Thank you, sir. Oh, hey, how about that easy?
That works.
So that'd be a nice little 14-inch keeper, pound and a half maybe. It would help in the tournament.
Little.
So Matt's got a fish on. It's another white,
striper.
isn't it? Is that a white, Matthew?
No, that's a hybrid.
Little hybrid. So they're kind of all mixed in here. We're kind of catching several species, white bass, hybrids. I just caught a largemouth. Largemouth is what we're after. Is that the right kind, Matthew?
That's the right kind. Oh yeah.
That's a big old nice bass. And now what he's doing, he's fishing a little different than us. We both fished right through there. And we hadn't been catching it. He's throwing a top water. And that fish reacted to that top water bait.
Goodness.
And it looks like
there
a
we
nice
go.
one. Good job, brother.
Thank you.
Showing us up.
I got no pride. I'll throw a top water in a heartbeat.
Yeah, look at us. We're both pulling out top water now.
How big's that fish, Matthew? About 4 pounds?
She wasn't so skinny.
Yeah.
3.5 maybe. Big old post-spawn female.
Yeah, you can tell she's already off the bed.
Yeah, she already been off the bed.
Good job, brother.
Appreciate it. Throw her back?
Yep.
She's ready.
Let her get bigger.
Oh, that little spook.
Basically what Matthew's throwing is what we call a walking bait. You have to make the action of that bait yourself by moving your rod back and forth, and it kind of walks. It's what we call walking the dog. One thing bass fishermen can be is pretty proud, and if there's a guy in the boat catching them on one bait and you're not, you might want to switch to it. We were throwing baits that were in the water column like crankbaits and flukes, and we weren't really getting bites. And Matt picked up a topwater bait, a walking type bait, started catching a few fish. So I immediately picked mine up too and started fishing. So if that happens, if somebody's in the boat with you catching fish, man, go to what they're throwing and you can catch them too. You got it? What'd he throw, a fluke back behind?
Got him.
Yep.
Get him on the fluke?
Yes, sir. I just pitched it right back in there.
What is that?
Little spot.
Little spot.
It's a keeper. Probably about 13 inches, maybe 14.
So what Matthew did, we call that a follow-up. He missed it on the top water. He reeled in his top water. Instead of throwing his top water the second time, he threw a fluke in there behind him, caught him on the fluke. And that's a great lesson when you're fishing bait like this. When they miss a top water, they're looking for that bait that they thought they hit, but a lot of times they won't hit the top water again. So throw something in behind them that sinks just a little bit like a fluke or a Cinco. A lot of times they'll come back and get it. Pretty decent little fish. I can't tell if it's a white bass or a hybrid or a largemouth or a spot yet. That's kind of the fun of fishing this way, man. It's like saltwater, you never know what you're gonna get. But he hit it real good. Yeah, that's a largemouth. And I followed Matthew's lead, picked up my top water, and I picked up a walking bait because they seem to be hitting it better. And they're pretty down there in that clear water too. That's gonna be a largemouth, not a giant, but he would keep, wouldn't he? John Reed?
Definitely.
12-incher.
That's for sure.
I've had lots of days where I'd love to see a 12-incher. So I'm just throwing a little small junior fluke is what it's called. And he hit it real good. It's real important too when you're throwing top water. Most people's reaction is typically to yank as soon as that thing blows up. But you got to give them just a minute to get it in their mouth good. So if you can make yourself hesitate just a little bit, you need to. John Reed, you and Matthew fish high school tournaments together. When I was in high school, which I won't tell you how long ago that was, it was a pretty good while ago. They didn't have bass fishing teams, but that's become really popular. I think it's a really cool thing. Can you tell me a little bit how that works?
Yes, sir. We actually, Matthew and I have been fishing tournaments for about 3 years.
And you're how old?
I am 17, just about to turn 18 in a few days.
You started when you were 14 or 15?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
We were not able to get approved by high school. We tried to be approved by Matthew's high school, which is Callaway High School. I'm actually homeschooled.
Okay.
But we fished independently and we did all the paperwork. And there's actually a way through Bass, they provide a denial form for the guys who have been denied by their school.
Okay.
So they're still able to fish even though they're not affiliated with a high school.
Okay.
And there's actually a lot of clubs, a lot of independent clubs that do really well on our trail.
Kind of each high school has a team.
For the most part,
okay.
Yes, sir. We actually started the first bass team in Troup County, which is Callaway High School bass team.
He got him a fish.
And there we go.
We're gonna let that fish interrupt us real quick. Matthew catching
For sure,
in the back
striper.
of the boat. So we may have another hybrid or striper.
Yeah, that's a spot.
Hey.
Well, mean spot.
And that's a spotted bass.
Thank you.
And a spotted
Sorry
bass
to
is a
interrupt.
black bass. They can catch them in tournaments. So anyway, before that fish interrupted us,
Yes, sir.
Tell me a little bit about how you and Matthew, how a tournament day works.
Well, tournament day, we are definitely blessed to have parents who support us.
Okay.
As far as financially and with the boats and everything, and also time-wise. But tournament kind of week, I won't even call them days, it's kind of tournament weeks.
Yeah.
We have to cram our school really bad,
Yeah.
really hard, because we leave either Thursday nights or Friday mornings real early to go pre-fishing.
So if it's not on your home lake, you have to leave and go.
Yes, sir. And 9 times out of 10, it's not on our home lake.
Okay.
It's 2 to 4 hours away, somewhere in there, a couple hours. But we stay in Georgia because we fish with Georgia Bass Nation. It's Bassmaster High School Series. Anyway, we'll head up normally Friday morning real early, go pre-fish, get an idea of what the lake's looking like, and what the fish are doing. And we try to manage our fish, and what that means is if we really start to catch them or we catch a couple in one spot, we leave. We mark the spot and leave.
Yeah. And you two guys, you're fishing together, so you're working together.
Yes, sir.
To catch how many fish? Usually
5 fish.
Usually 5 fish, okay.
5 fish limit, and each lake has a different minimum length.
Okay. But at the end of the day, whoever's best 5 wins the tournament, right?
Yes, sir.
And how many tournaments do y'all fish in a year?
I want to say we
season?
fish 8 with the trail that I'm talking
Okay.
about right now, plus state.
Okay.
And then that's not counting all the tournaments that we fish, just on a whim.
Gotcha.
But 8 scheduled tournaments throughout the year.
So if you guys are out there thinking about fishing, a couple things I hear from him saying, number one, most schools have a program you can be a part of, so check into that. Number two, if you're an adult that loves to fish, there's a lot of guys out here that could use the help. And Matt, you're a part of an organization over here that works on the river. Can you tell me a little bit about what it is and what it's called?
So I'm an intern at the Chattahoochee Riverkeepers,
Okay.
and it's a really nice organization. And we go and we watch the kind of the water quality all the creeks and systems that run into the river. And basically, there's volunteers and myself that go out and take samples of the water, bring it back into our lab. We test them, and we see what the water quality index is, check out the turbidity, conductivity, things of that nature. And then the main thing that we're checking for is the E. coli count.
Okay.
And that's making sure that there's no raw sewage that's dumping into the lake and
Right.
in the creeks and stuff. And if there is something that's wrong, we can pinpoint where it's coming from, and then go talk to those people that are, the companies that are around that area.
Sure.
Yeah.
And so, the past several years, Chattahoochee's kind of gotten a bad reputation, but what you're telling me is it's a lot better than it used to be.
It's a lot better than what it used to be. I mean, it is safe to drink. It's safe to
Eat fish out of. Okay.
Yes, sir.
That's awesome. So you heard it firsthand from the guy that tests the water here. You're good to eat fish out of the Chattahoochee, at least up here on West Point. The water, looking at it, looks really, really nice. So.
Basically from Harding up is where kind of we test most of our stuff, and that's probably starting to turn to the best part of the river.
What you got there, man?
Got me a little spot, man.
Hey, John Reed, what'd you catch him on?
Caught him on a Zoom Super Fluke.
Okay. Did you
sir.
see him and throw to him, or was he just up there?
I actually saw some bait getting chased up on a shore. Just one little shad flitting. I thought I'd cast to it. And there he was.
Cool.
Yes, sir.
Fished all morning, catching them on shad stuff, and that kind of got over with, and the wind got so bad we couldn't fish where we wanted to fish, so we started getting in some protected pockets, and I'm just throwing a little shaky head. It's a Buckeye spot remover with a little finesse worm on it. That fish may have been on a bed up there. Little largemouth. It's better than we've had in a while. He might squeak 12 inches, but he was just up there on a little dark spot. That's what I caught him on. what we got here is this, it's an 1/8 ounce Buckeye spot remover. It's green pumpkin color. Got a green pumpkin magic zoom finesse worm. I dyed the tail a little bit. And I'm just gonna, it looks like a little spring on a pin. You just put it in there and screw it on till it's flush up against the head. You want it tight against the head. And then what I'm gonna do on the flat side of that finesse worm, I'm just gonna poke it back in there just like I do any other Texas rig, all the way through, back it up a little bit and skin hook it. Then you got that thing sitting there, and that flat side will land on the bottom like this, and they don't like that thing standing up like that. We just kind of got in a protected pocket here, catching them when we can find shady spots or dark spots. Get us off. Good job, brother. That works too.
Yeah, that works too.
I got it.
There you go.
Thank you. Nice little, we're just talking about it. It may be male bass in here guarding of what we call fry. It's the little babies. Anytime you can catch them right after the spawn and they're see that take off right there?
Yeah.
Time they're guarding, they're very protective and they're a little bit easier to catch. But we're gonna let him go get bigger. Thank you, man. Matt and John Reed have started making their own tackle. Why don't you tell me a little bit about y'all's tackle business, Matt?
So a couple years back, we kind of got tired of like mainstream lures. At the time, there weren't like a lot of custom companies and things like that. So we decided, hey, why don't we make our own? It kind of started off as just a fun way. We made soft plastic and wooden crankbaits and things like that, but now it's really turned into business. We have our own website. We do craft fairs. We do we sell to like local marinas and stuff. And got one of my jigs right here that I make, and we also make spinner baits as well.
So jigs and spinner baits.
Yes, sir.
Is that mostly what y'all do? Or?
Yes, sir. Okay. That's what we make. That's what we sell.
What's the name of your company?
The name of our company is Southern Shiners.
Southern Shiners. And how can they find you on the web?
You can go to www.southernshiners.com.
Cool. Check out southernshiners.com and give these guys your business. They're a couple of good guys and trying to be entrepreneurs and bass fishermen, and if you could help them out, it'd be great.
Awesome. Thank you.
I think the key kind of what we're doing is hitting backs of places these fish haven't moved out yet after spawning, or they're still spawning. He just caught a nice one on a jig. Choked it. That's a good way to end your day, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Unfortunately, Matt's got to go to work, and John Reed's going to jump in the boat with us, but man, I've enjoyed the day with you. Thanks for being here, brother.
Thank you.
Great job. John Reed and Matt are high school kids, and they're on their high school fishing team, and I can remember, it's a long way back to remember, but I can remember in high school, that was kind of when my love for bass fishing kind of got ignited. I watched guys on television catching bass. It was kind of in the early days of tournament fishing, and man, I just absolutely loved it. I loved it so much that my mom bought me a jumpsuit and put a bunch of patches on it to make me look like a professional fisherman, and I had my Man's Bait Company hat on that I'd go fishing in. And that was my arsenal at that time, was a purple Man's jelly worm and a chartreuse and white Colorado spinnerbait, and that was kind of my deal at that point. But these guys, it's neat to watch in the era that they live in, the skills that these guys have. Man, they know all the baits, they know all the techniques. They're very skilled fishermen for young men. And so it really impressed me being on the water with them today at what they learn and how they apply it on the lake every day. But you know, that wasn't what impressed me the most about them. What impressed me the most was in tournaments, they wanted to be good examples of guys that are following Jesus Christ. And you know, that's really a biblical thing. In 1 Timothy 4:12, it says this: "Don't let anyone look down on you because you're young, but set an example for the believers in life, in love, in speech, in faith, and in purity." And that's what those guys are striving to do. And I just want to encourage you guys, maybe our younger viewers, that you're never too young to be an example for Jesus Christ in anything that you do. In fact, we're really all called to do that, no matter how young or how old you are. We're supposed to be an example that draws other people to Christ. I want to read you guys a verse of scripture from 1 Peter. It's 1 Peter 2, and it says this: "Live such good lives among the pagans, that though they accuse you of doing wrong, they may see your good deeds and glorify God on the day that He visits us." And what he's saying is, we're supposed to live such lives in front of people that they see a difference in our lives and it draws them to Christ. And so that's my encouragement to you guys today from the lives of really young men that are trying to be examples, that we are supposed to live lives that draw others to Jesus Christ. And maybe you've seen lives like that and you've said, man, I really want to be like that, or I want to have what they have, and I know that I don't have it. And what you're missing is a personal relationship with Jesus Christ. It's really, really simple. All you have to do is admit you're a sinner, ask Jesus to forgive you of your sins, and ask Him to come in your heart and be Lord of your life. Thanks so much for joining us this week. Hey guys, what we do at Go Fish Ministries is share the gospel and encourage believers in their walk with Christ. We do this through a variety of events such as wild game dinners, kids camps, men's events, music events, or even if you or someone you know just needs a day on the water. Go Fish Ministries wants to point you toward Jesus and help you know Him better. Contact us through our website. We'd love to serve you any way we can. God bless you and go fish.
I got one.
You get him? Attaboy.
Come on,
Good job,
stay
brother.
buddy. Little guy.
Big one. Good job, bro.
We appreciate it.
So what we're doing,
Concussion on that one.
that's a John Reed soccer bass. You kick him around in the boat.
Come on, buddy.
What we're doing though, we fished all morning following shad around, and it's gotten later in the day. Let's show them the fin on that one. That fish clearly on the bed, all beat up right here. That's a little spotted bass. But we've had to kind of slow down, start throwing some plastic baits. He's throwing a little short drop shot. I'm throwing a little spot remover. We've caught a couple in this pocket. We'll see if we can't catch a couple more. Good job, man.
Hopefully that's the male right there.
Yeah. We're kind of looking, when you get in backs of pockets like we are here when it's spawning time, you look for things like dark spots or light spots. That's where fish relate to. They're either on a bed or they're near a bed. And we're not really technically looking at fish, but we're looking at spots that we're trying to catch them on. How about telling us a little bit about your story and how you came to know Christ?
Yes, sir. My story is really kind of a preacher kid story. I'm not a preacher's kid, but might as well be.
Yeah.
I've never really experienced a lot of hardships in my life. I'm blessed to be able to come out here and fish, but that doesn't mean my testimony is invalid.
Right, sure.
So I accepted Christ when I was 6 years old at a camp, summer camp, and ever since my faith has been growing. And I'll be honest, I think my faith has grown the most over the last 3 years.
Okay.
And those last 3 years were the years I started to fish, fish tournaments. And one of the reasons for that is having such a godly fishing partner. We've kind of realized that this is a ministry as much as it is a spiritual opportunity to grow.
That's awesome.
As awesome as the fishing community is, and the guys are nice, and you kind of assume everybody's a nice Southern Christian.
Right.
They're not.
Right, sure.
And that's true with anything, but it can be deceptive. So we kind of try to do a devotional and pray openly as much as we can, as well as throughout the day on our tournaments.
The cool thing I hear is two things from your story. Number one, and we need to all realize this, you don't have to have been in jail or been a drug addict to have a testimony. All of us are dead in our sins until Christ saves us from that, whether you're a good kid or not, and He did that for you. And then secondly, it's always good to have somebody that'll hold you accountable and help you grow in your walk, like Matt did with you and you did with Matt. That's cool. Yeah. Had to pitch way under that dock to catch him. Oh,
man.
The Royce Rayleigh, easy release. That's something you do need to do though. I've been hung on several things Always check your hook sharpness. The hook's pretty sharp.
You meant to do that, right?
I meant to do that. I didn't want to touch another one. It's either a big fish or he's down in that stuff. That's a big fish, man. That's a big fish, John Reed, if you'll help me with that.
Yes, sir.
That's a really good one right there.
Hey, there we go.
Nice.
It's like a spot, too.
Is it a spot?
It might be.
We're up in here just throwing a little spot remover. He is wanting to get in that brush.
Oh,
He
God.
just hung a nice one. We're gonna see if we can't get him in.
Get away from this brush right here.
Yep. I love it when a plan comes together. My man put me on this one. Good?
Come here, buddy.
Good job, brother.
Yeah, baby. That's a good one, man. Give you a high five and knuckles. There you
Look at
go.
that. Now look at that fish. It's just out of the back of a spawning area. And
Could have swore you had brush.
I know, well, I was all in it and she must have been in there with it, but that was shaking. I can't get it. You can see how she's all beat up, her tail split and beat up, but it's not bloody, so she's healing up from the spawn. In another month, that'll be a 4-pounder. Right now, she's 3.25.
That's for sure.
Beautiful fish. John Reed brought me in here. The last set of docks we're probably gonna fish today. I just caught that on a little spot remover with a green pumpkin magic finesse worm.
It's good
Thank you, Lord.
don't be afraid to throw up in some brush, man.
That's right. If you're not getting hung, a lot of times you're not catching fish, are you?
Oh, I just missed one.
You get bit?
I just got bit.
I told you one would live right there. Had a great day today on West Point Lake. If you ever have a chance to come up here and fish, it's a good place to come. We didn't catch tons of fish, but caught a good many and a couple real nice ones. Had a great day with Matt and with John Reed. Thanks for being with me today, man.
Thank you for letting us come out.
And tell them a little bit more about your company again.
Yeah, we sell jigs and spinnerbaits. They're all handmade, and you go to southernshiners.com and send us an email if you want something custom. And if you can think it, we can build it.
Awesome.
Yes, sir.
Well, thanks for being with me. And thank you all for being with us this week. Join us next week. I want to thank my friends John Reed and Matt for being with us today on West Point. Man, we had a great day on the lake, caught a lot of fish. It was a really fun day. Turned out nice day. It was really cold to start, but it turned out to be a really nice day. But if you have an opportunity and you want to get involved with a high school fishing team, you can check out BASS website or FLW website to see how you can be involved. They're always looking for volunteers. They particularly need guys with boats that can be a boat captain for them. Thanks so much for being with us this week, and join us next time.